Okay, hey everybody. Today I want to show you how to get started on the drawing portion for your design. Just to show you where I am with this, what I did is I printed out an image I found online. And my poem's about an old rusty watering can. So I found an old rusty watering can, and I really like this image. I just love the handle and everything. So there were a lot of watering cans, and just for some reason this one resonated. If you notice, I also have on here, so I can visualize this, the font that I think I'm going to use. This is Death Star from I guess this is from dafont.com. And what's nice about knowing the name now is that I haven't downloaded this yet, but I can always go back and get it very quickly and easily. I should always write down the font name when you do this. So what I have right here, and hopefully you can see this, is I've taken a piece of transparent paper and I've taped it at the top. I've created a hinge just at the top. So you're not gonna tape it all the way around. You wanna just create a hinge at the top so you can lift up this paper and have it fall in place. And this is a great way of exploring the creative process because you work basically in layers on top of this. And I can even, if I wanted to make a change and without erasing, I could even take another piece of transparent paper and lay it on top of this one and make changes gradually. But what's nice about what I have here is that I can, without having to have any really strong drawing skills, I don't know how well you guys can see that, I can trace over my drawing and pretty much get what I want on here. Now, the idea behind this is that I've got to figure out, where do I want to put my words? Where do I want to put everything? And that's going to involve breaking this down into individual shapes. And I have a pretty long poem. I think mine's about 20 lines long. So I'm probably either not going to use all of it, or I have to be kind of creative in terms of how I break it down. So you get the idea. So you would start by just outlining everything like this, and then this is the fun part. You have to decide, well, where are the individual shapes going to be? So some of this is kind of obvious. Like I can kind of see myself creating a shape up here, and then this could obviously become a shape right here. This is kind of a shape right here. I can make this a separate shape right there. So the more ways you can break this down, you know, and I don't see this as necessarily being one word. This could be a sentence. Definitely this long handle. I can see this as being a whole phrase, like several sentences, or at least one sentence going across the top of this to make this work. And so that's just something to think about, that you might read it as one big sentence, but when I go to envelope distort, like I might break this down into chunks like this. And we've already explored why it's good to simplify these things. And then for the watering can itself, this part down here, I definitely want this to have a feeling of roundness. So instead of my text going just across, if I look carefully, I can see that there are these lines here, and look, I don't even have to work too hard. I can see that they're moving like that. So I could have, again, another phrase going across like that. I could have another phrase or a big word. It depends on how I want to emphasize this. This is the thing that's so cool about this. Like, how many phrases do I want to go in here, and where do I want to put them, and what size do I want them to be? This is where the creativity aspect comes into play. Like, what angle is this all going to be at? What colors are going to use? Something to consider. So that's basically the idea. And then once you have the basic broken down portion of this done, then it's a matter of going back and pulling up your poem. So like mine, the phrase is, it was just an old watering can. So like I can start to think about adding my text, and I think I'm just going to go in with another color pencil. So like maybe I'm going to put like, it was just, you get the idea. So I'm just kind of, I'm not writing it out with Death Star. That's too hard. But this is going to help me figure out an old, where to put everything. So watering can, etc., etc. You know, over here, for example, like I have the words, keep standing on the porch, galvanized steel, long battered spout. So maybe I'm going to finish watering can here, and then I'll have long battered spout coming down here because it's describing the spout up here. Filled with water for the thirsty. There's so much stuff that I could put in here. I don't think I'm going to use my entire poem, but the trick is I have to decide how to fit everything in here. What I don't want to do is when I write this, like I don't want to write, I filled it, like, and just have an explicit line that kind of moves along the top. Like, in other words, maybe I'm going to make this all one word, and something like I watered. So like, for example, this would become I watered. And I'm rushing through this process, but I just want to show you that's basically what I'm asking you to do, is to fill each shape with like an envelope distort concept. All right, so that's what you're doing with this, is just planning this out. And then what we're going to do in class later on is peer critique everybody's work and figure out what would work best for your actual design.